Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the life of a man who is literally the architect of contradiction, Mao Zedong. We're talking about the guy who took a fractured, completely war-torn nation and molded it into a unified global power. But, and it's a massive but, he left behind one of the most controversial and deadly legacies in modern history. So, you really have to ask yourself, how does one single leader act as both the ultimate nation builder and the architect of such devastating human suffering? To figure out how modern China was born, we have to unpack this exact paradox. And we're going to do that by impartially following the data and the historical records wherever they lead us. Trust me, it's a wild story of incredible ambition and catastrophic outcomes.
Part 1. The Peasant Revolutionary and the Fall of an Empire.
Mao's story actually kicks off during the collapse of the Qing dynasty. We're talking about a super volatile era, foreign invasions, internal rebellions, total corruption everywhere. And his steady rise through all that turmoil, it's honestly remarkable. Back in 1911, he was just an 18-year-old soldier in the Xinhai Revolution. Fast forward a decade, he co-founds a communist party with a mere 50 members. And then, against all odds, that leads him to stand in Tiananmen Square in 1949, proclaiming the brand new People's Republic of China. Now here's where Mao really changed the game. Traditional Marxist thinkers always believed that the urban working class had to be the ones to drive a revolution. But Mao, he realized that in China, the massive, impoverished population of rural farmers was the actual secret weapon. They were the true revolutionary force. That one huge insight totally flipped the script for the Chinese Communist Party.
But getting to power was brutal. Take the number 9,000, for example. That represents two mind-blowing realities of the legendary Long March. Fleeing from nationalist forces, the communist soldiers marched roughly 9,000 kilometers in an absolute nightmare of a military retreat. Out of the 80,000 who started out, only about 9,000 even survived. Yet it was that exact, unimaginable crucible that cemented Mao as the undisputed leader of the party.
Part 2. Building a New China. Sweeping reforms and the human cost.
Okay, so after defeating Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists in the Civil War, Mao didn't just step in and govern. He decided to completely rip up the floorboards and restructure Chinese society from scratch. Under his famous slogan, "Women hold up half the sky," he enacted some sweeping new laws. He ended centuries-old traditions like arranged and child marriages and rapidly brought women into both the industrial workforce and the education system. It was a massive shift in gender dynamics.
He also rolled out major social reforms like nationwide literacy campaigns and pushed basic healthcare out into rural areas, which seriously boosted life expectancy. But, and we absolutely cannot gloss over this, the human cost was staggering. The government redistributed land from wealthy landlords to poor farmers, and this process was brutally violent. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people killed because they were perceived as class enemies. So yes, profound transformation, but entirely steeped in bloodshed. And that relentless ambition? It culminated in something called the Great Leap Forward, running from 1958 to 1962. This was an incredibly aggressive push for rapid, almost overnight industrialization. Mao demanded extreme collective farming and set production targets that were just, well, impossible. He essentially wanted China to catch up to the West's industrial output in a matter of years rather than decades.
The result? Total catastrophe. You had local officials terrified to tell the truth, leading to totally unrealistic reporting. Combine that poor agricultural planning with some devastating weather, and the whole campaign spiraled into an absolute nightmare. It triggered one of the deadliest famines in human history, literally killing tens of millions of people. As you might guess, that horrific failure severely weakened Mao's political standing within his own party.
So how does a leader bounce back from that? By reasserting absolute authority. Mao triggered the Cultural Revolution. For a whole decade, he mobilized legions of youth known as Red Guards to basically go after anyone perceived as an enemy of the revolution. It was sheer chaos. Priceless historical artifacts were smashed, schools were shut down, and a wave of political persecution swept the country, destroying millions of livelihoods and lives. Which brings us to our final section, a contested legacy and his lasting imprint on modern geopolitics. Because of all these profound contradictions, historians today are incredibly polarized when they look back at him. It's a really stark divide. On one side, supporters point out that he built a unified, independent, modern state, massively expanded literacy, and elevated China's status on the world stage. But on the flip side, critics rightfully focus on the millions of lives totally destroyed by intense political repression in those catastrophic economic campaigns. It's this heavy debate of weighing unprecedented nation building against staggering human tragedy.
But here is the undeniable truth. More than 4 decades after his death in 1976, his influence is still a permanent mark on China's DNA. I mean, think about it. He secured a permanent UN seat in 1971, and he famously opened US relations with Richard Nixon in 1972. His geopolitical footprint is massive. Even right now, his Little Red Book is historically everywhere, and his portrait literally still hangs on Tiananmen Gate and is printed on every single piece of Chinese currency.
So, as we wrap up this explainer and look at China's immense power today, we are left with a really difficult question to chew on. When you examine modern geopolitics, can the foundation of a global superpower ever truly be untangled from the devastating human cost of its creation? It's a complex, incredibly heavy legacy, and one that is absolutely still shaping our world today.